Hey guys, this is Raju. Welcome to my YouTube channel CloudTubes. Today we will look into proximity placement group. So before understanding proximity placement group, please do learn about the host grouping and what is host in Azure. So I have also created one more video related to host grouping and host. Please do check in the bottom um, under the description so that it will take you towards host grouping and host details. So there you can understand about that and then you can look into the proximity placement grouping. So proximity placement grouping is nothing but so if you have a virtual machine created on one particular host in a data in the Azure data center, so suppose it is in rack 1 and another virtual machine which you are going to create can be created on the next rack in the host 1 and not in the different host. So usually when you're creating virtual machines on a specific region in Azure, you will not know on which particular rack the virtual machine is running out. So it can be in rack 1 and the another virtual machine or other services which are running, it could be on different racks. So it can be at the nearest rack, but it could be also little far. So proximity placement group, if you're grouping all the resources virtual machines under this, it will make sure that the virtual machines which you're configuring would be nearest location, so that would reduce the latency since the virtual machines are not placed in a quite longer distance. So if you look into the Microsoft site, that in details are also given in the same site. So it's newly introduced, I think a couple of months ago. So if you look into this, a proximity placement group continues to be particularly useful for workloads that require low latency. In fact, this logical grouping constructs ensures that your infrastructure as a service resources like virtual machines or VMs are physically located close to each other and adds new features and best practices for success. So you can look into the image where you have couple of virtual machines on the scale set where the virtual machines would be on a proximity placement group in order to make sure that the virtual machines are not placed in the racks from one rack to another rack in a very far distance. So that would reduce the latency and I would also show you in Azure portal how do you configure that and where do you get this option. So let's look into the Azure portal. Before looking into the proximity placement group, you need to configure a proximity placement group. You need to create that by searching in the Azure portal proximity placement group. It will take you to the specific resources. So it's loading up. So once you're in proximity placement group, you need to add, you need to create a group. See here, so it doesn't have any more informations to be given apart from the resource group and the region needs to be specified and you have to give a name to the proximity placement group. I will just mention it as test proximity prox placement group. So it's just for my reference and that's it. You need to tag if you need if it is a training or a production environment, you can just put the details here and then review and you need to create it. Once the proximity placement group is created, I'll not create it right now. So once this has been created, you can go back to the home page and you need to create a virtual machine. Under the virtual machine, you will be able to see this option under advanced option. Let me show you this. So this is the page where you would be creating adding the details in order to create a virtual machine. So go to the advanced section. So under this advanced section, please do scroll down, and you would be seeing host grouping, and next you would find proximity placement group. So here it also describes the same details that the proximity placement groups allows you to group Azure resources physically closer to each other in the same region. So the grouping which you are configuring separately, that will show up here if it is in the same region, and then you need to select it and need to go further. So this is what I wanted to show you and share you the information about proximity placement group.